They called her a failure as they drank wine she paid for under the roof she kept from collapsing, but when Hannah finally cuts them off, she doesn't just take back her money. She takes back every secret, every lie, and every piece of power they stole. And what she uncovers next could destroy them all. The night before Thanksgiving, Hannah Ellis stared at the blue flicker of her computer screen. The numbers, reports, and charts flowed effortlessly. Her mind processed them like a machine, but her hands trembled slightly on the keyboard. Not from fear, but from something colder, deeper. The kind of stillness that only comes after drowning in years of resentment, guilt, and denial. Her downtown apartment was quiet except for the distant rumble of traffic, the muted hum of the fridge, and the occasional flicker of wind against her high-rise window. She had built everything herself: the career, the home, the identity. But what she could never build, not for lack of trying, was family. Her phone vibrated. A message from Claire in the group chat. "Don't be late. Finance Barbie. We need someone to bring dessert we won't eat." The message ended with a smirking emoji. Hannah stared at it, eyes dry. The screen dimmed and locked, and she didn't touch it again. Instead, she walked to her wine rack and poured a glass, not to relax, but to prepare. Claire, the eldest, had always been sharp-edged, brittle behind her perfectly curled blonde hair and endless complaints. She was the kind of woman who weaponized sarcasm and rewrote history mid-sentence. Their parents never corrected her. They laughed, played along, and sometimes joined in. Family dinners became survival exercises. You smiled. You laughed when they laughed. And if they laughed at you, you laughed louder. And Hannah did it all until now. It began with a realization that came not as thunder, but as dust falling from a crack in the ceiling. A missed rent payment from Claire. Another short-term loan request from Mom. A sudden emergency call from Dad about his retirement fund. Every plea wrapped in guilt. Every conversation shaped like an obligation. She told herself they loved her. She had convinced herself for years that sacrifice was just another name for belonging. If she paid enough, gave enough, maybe she would finally matter. But people don't treasure ATMs. They just punch the numbers and walk away. Thanksgiving morning. She dressed carefully: black suit, sharp heels, clean makeup. The outfit had been mocked before. They said she looked like a lawyer at a funeral, like someone trying too hard. She chose it anyway. Intentional, powerful. She drove the silver sedan, leased under her name, through the suburbs where every lawn looked like a brochure and every window had the same tired wreath. The family house came into view, still painted, pale yellow with cracked edges near the roof, a metaphor in siding and shingles. She rang the bell, even though she still had a key. Claire opened the door and smirked. "You made it," Claire said, her tone laced with irony. "We almost started without our financial advisor." Hannah returned the smile without warmth. Wouldn't want to ruin the tradition. She walked inside, holding a pie from a bakery they all pretended to hate but devoured anyway. The house was warm, filled with the smell of turkey and bitterness. Her mother bustled in the kitchen, her movements sharp and chaotic. Her father sat watching TV, volume too high, pretending to be uninterested in her arrival. Claire followed behind, high on smugness and cheap wine. They seated her by the trash can again. Always. She never asked why. But she knew. Control. Subtle humiliation. Death by paper cuts. Dinner was loud. Her mother complained about her neighbor's dog. Her father made political comments designed to provoke. Claire shared a story about a co-worker she hated. No one asked about Hannah's work, her life, or anything that required interest. They laughed and passed food and refilled wine glasses. Bottles she had brought. Food she had partially funded. The roof over their heads, still paid in part from her account. A fact they never acknowledged. Then Claire stood, glass raised, eyes gleaming. "Here's to family," she said, voice like a razor blade. Except Hannah, the failure who thinks money makes her worth something. They laughed. Not loud belly laughs. Snickers. Mean, self-satisfied chuckles. Hannah's parents didn't correct Claire. Her mother smirked behind her wine. Her father sipped his drink and looked away. In that moment, something inside her crystallized. She didn't flinch. She didn't blink. She lifted her glass. Not of wine but power to the failure, Hannah said clearly, her voice cutting through the room like glass. Who just stopped paying for everything you own? The silence was total. Claire blinked. What the hell does that mean? Hannah set her glass down, reached into her purse, and pulled out a stack of crisp, neatly clipped papers. She placed them beside the gravy boat deliberately. Mortgage, she said. Now in your name. First payments due Monday. Claire reached for the papers as if grabbing them could stop the avalanche. Her mother leaned in, face tight with confusion. Her father stiffened. Hannah didn't stop the car, she said, turning to her father. Gone. Check the driveway. She faced her mother. Phone plan. Cancelled. Utilities? Transferred. Credit card? Frozen. Streaming accounts? All done. The Wi-Fi ends tonight. A fork clattered against a plate. You're bluffing. Claire hissed. Hannah tilted her head. Call the bank. Her mother gasped, then turned pale. Her father stood up, face blotched and red. Claire began flipping through the papers with increasing desperation, as if she could undo years of entitlement in a single dinner. Her mother tried guilt first. This is cruel, Hannah. This is family. You don't do this to family. Her father added. You'll regret this. This isn't how we fix things. Claire spat venom. You think you're better than us? You're nothing without us. You need us. Hannah leaned forward, her face calm. No, I needed love. And you gave me invoices. She stood, picked up her purse, and walked out the front door, leaving behind the pie and 3 stunned faces. She didn't look back. In the weeks that followed, the silence was louder than any fight. Claire's credit score dropped like a stone. Her mother left voicemails, tearful, desperate. Her father sent one message, a long, weary sigh and a hang-up. Thanksgiving came and went. December rolled in with frost. Hannah went to work, drank her coffee, and signed new clients. She didn't cry. She didn't second-guess. She slept better, but this wasn't freedom yet. Not completely, because walking away from debt doesn't erase it. It follows you. In guilt, in silence, in dreams. Then came the text. From a number she didn't recognize. Just one line. You think it's over. It isn't. She stared at it. Then the second message came. You want the truth? Come home for Christmas. She read it twice, then deleted it. But she didn't forget it. Something about the timing felt deliberate, calculated. The last thread she hadn't cut might still be tangled. Her family wasn't just cruel. They were hiding something. And now, for the first time, they wanted her back, not for money, but for something else. Not love. Not regret. Something darker. The text wouldn't leave her mind. You think it's over. It isn't. You want the truth? Come home for Christmas. Hannah tried to bury it, tried to refocus on her spreadsheets, on her firm's year-end reports, on a man named Jordan from accounting who had been gently trying to earn her attention over casual coffees. But the quiet of her apartment pressed in closer now, like the walls themselves whispered unanswered questions. The kind you don't want to hear but can't ignore. 3 weeks since Thanksgiving, and her family hadn't called. Again, just that message. It didn't sound like Claire. Claire would have thrown a tantrum in all caps. It wasn't Mom either. Hers would be emotional, messy, too many exclamation points. And her father, he wouldn't have texted. He preferred silence as punishment. So who sent it? She asked herself that question a dozen times until a memory broke. The dam, her cousin Lily, and Janice's daughter, the black sheep like her, but softer. A school counselor who had moved to towns over. Lily always saw the things others pretended not to. They used to talk during Thanksgivings, in stolen moments while doing dishes or escaping the noise. And the handwriting on the pie box last month had looked suspiciously like Lily's. Maybe it had been a hint. The week before Christmas, Hannah packed a single bag. She told no one at work. Left no forwarding number. Jordan just got a brief smile when he wished her happy holidays. She wasn't sure what she was walking into, but she needed to look them in the eyes again. Not as their bank, not as their scapegoat, but as something stronger, sharper, changed. She drove past the same tired lawns, the same wreaths with drooping ribbons, and pulled into the driveway. The porch light flickered, a symptom of the utilities being in Claire's name now. Hannah felt a quiet jolt of satisfaction, then guilt, Then stillness. She knocked. Lily opened the door. Hannah exhaled. You sent the message. Lily nodded. Eyes unreadable. We need to talk. She ushered Hannah in, and the house smelled different now. Not warm, cold. The tree was up, but undecorated. Her mother sat on the couch in silence. Her father didn't even turn from the TV. Claire wasn't there. Lily led her to the kitchen, where the real family politics always unfolded. The light overhead buzzed faintly. Hannah leaned against the counter. So talk. Lily didn't flinch. There's something you need to know about the money, about your father's retirement, about why they clung to you like they did. Hannah's eyes narrowed. I thought I knew, because I was easy. No, Lily said, because you were the only one who didn't know the secret. And then Lily told her about the inheritance Hannah never knew existed, about a trust fund left by her grandfather, not for Claire, not for her parents, for Hannah, specifically. An account that had grown quietly over the years. One that was intended to be released to her when she turned 25, but never was, because her father intercepted it. He had power of attorney from years earlier, from when she was in college, and signed whatever forms he gave her, trusting he was helping. Instead, he rerouted the money into family accounts, paid off their debts, bought Claire a car, paid for vacations, even helped cover a gambling debt Hannah never knew he had. They used your inheritance to keep you paying them, Lily said. They told you they needed help, but they never told you it was your money they were bailing themselves out with. Hannah sat down slowly. And Claire knew. She found out a few years ago. She used it as leverage. Your father told her she'd get a piece if she stayed close, played nice, and my mother, she pretended not to know. Hannah stared at the floor, her thoughts spiraling but coldly, not in chaos, in sequence. She remembered the times. They asked for help but never said thank you. The way they blamed her when things got tight. The way they looked down on her, even as they reached for her wallet. Her chest didn't ache. It ignited. Why are you telling me this now? She asked. Because he's dying, Lily said quietly. Your dad. Liver failure. He's got maybe months. He hasn't told you because he thinks if you find out, you'll come running back. Hannah stood up. I'm not coming back. No, Lily said. But you should see the account. What's left? There's something else. They sat in Lily's car outside the bank. Lily handed her a manila envelope. Inside were documents. The original trust paperwork. Hannah's signature on a guardianship transfer, banking activity logs, and a withdrawal pattern that screamed manipulation. She filed a fraud complaint. The bank manager raised an eyebrow. Are you sure you want to do this? It'll destroy him. Hannah looked him in the eye. He already did. She didn't tell her mother. She didn't tell Claire. She let the audit begin in silence. Christmas passed. No one called. Not even Lily. On New Year's Eve, she got one email from the law firm handling the trust, a notice that the account had been reinstated and the remaining funds transferred back to her. The number stunned her. Over $200,000. After all the theft, after the betrayals, that night, she walked into a small bar on the corner of 8th and Madison, one Jordan had mentioned in passing. She didn't wear black. She wore red. He was there, surprised but smiling. They drank. They talked. She didn't tell him everything, just that this year had taught her silence could be a weapon or a shield, and she was done using it as either. Weeks later, her father died. She didn't attend the funeral, but she sent one bouquet. White lilies. No card. Claire posted photos from the service, all of them dressed in black. In the captions, she wrote about grief, about love, about family. Not once did she mention Hannah. She didn't need to. The story was over. Or so she thought. Until the third message came. This time, no pretense. Just, you think you won, but we kept something from you. Something bigger. And then an attachment. A photo. Of a document Hannah had never seen. Her mother's will, dated 4 months ago. Leaving everything, including Hannah's restored trust, to Claire, signed, and legally witnessed. Except one thing was wrong. The date of signing was during a week when her mother had been hospitalized and under morphine, and Hannah had the records to prove it. The real game hadn't ended. It had just begun. Moral and life lesson. True. Love is not measured by how much you give, but by how much you're respected when you have nothing left to offer. Families built on guilt, manipulation, and silence will collapse the moment you reclaim your voice and your worth. Walking away from toxic bonds, no matter how deeply they're tied by blood, is not betrayal. It's survival. And sometimes the greatest act of strength is not fighting back, but quietly cutting the cord and choosing peace over approval.